We already talk about this one. Those who have some experience like the UI or front end or GUI development with the JavaScript based frameworks, then they can go this way like Angular, TypeScript or React, JavaScript and Timeleaf, JSP, JFS, FreeMarker, Grails. Then you can do the your Web GIS programming with a very specific JavaScript framework, and even though with the Java and GUI frameworks development. And those who are do not have any experience about any JavaScript based framework, even though in Java based frameworks, and then they can even though they can go this like the very simple HTML, JavaScript, and CSS with different map libraries like OpenLayers and Replay. That's the today I try to continue. This is the one. So very simple HTML, CSS, OpenLayers, and then JavaScript plus the GeoServer. And even though other series that I already talk about this one, you have the like very simple JavaScript, leaflets, HTML, very simple HTML, CSS, and graphs, and then GeoServer services called in the HTML page. That's the thing I cover it. You can go to my channels and so what we discuss and what we have it at the moment. So this is the example that I already show you, the screencast number 35 with the Node.js, Angular, TypeScript, OpenLayers, GeoServer based application, enterprise level application development. This is the one of the other example like leaflet, exactly same functionality with the leaflet and GeoServer with, and then this is another one, the leaflet, open layers, and the Angular based Web GIS or Web GIS mapping programming application, enterprise level application. That's I mean. So this is our standard GeoServer implementation. If you saw the implementation, the localhost 777, and then the URL of your GeoServices call or installation. Basically, this is the GeoServices coming from the PostGIS database. You have to connect with the from GeoServer to the PostGIS, and then you build your all necessary services, WMS, WFS, or what services you need, and just simply call it the services, and then into build your web pages. This is very simple. I will show you. That's I said. I already talk about those things together, but you can get it really clear idea what I mean. How can you do very quickly? So this is one of the screencasts. This is that I'm today I try to continue, and like you see the web GIS, mapping programming, OpenLayer, GeoServer, Google Maps APIs, web maps, and graphs and chat libraries, other chat libraries. So this is the one top level layout. You already show this in this channel. There is available screencast, but today I'm the continuation for this screencast. Here you can see that the one of the another layout for the open layers, and then very simple HTML and CSS layout for that one. So here's the GeoServer call. I didn't add it yet, but you can. So it's a 46 number. It is the based on the leaflet and GeoServer. You can go this way, and then you can the other layout for this one. So I will take this presentation part, the introduction part. Let's have a start to the real development for the applications. So that's the things we already talk about, detail, more information, how can you build that structure of the really very simple HTML structure. So if I go to these projects, and you see that there's two projects like WebGIS leaflet projects, and then we are here these projects. It is the really flat files, very simple flat files. You have all the dependency, all the libraries. That's we already talk about this one, the previous screencast. You can follow this one. How can you build a very simple JavaScript functions, and then build a Java, integrate this JavaScript function with JavaScript function with your open layers JavaScript library, and build use very simple HTML pages. So you will put in all the JavaScript libraries here. You see the jQuery library, Canvas graphs libraries, plot libraries, and so on so forth. All libraries is there, and then you have a very simple CSS classes, external CSS classes. You put all the CSS classes here, and then you have some images, what you need to images, all things images into the here, the standard, very standard structure for the open layers, web GIS or web mapping programming. So because here this case we don't use any framework. That's why these are flat files. You just very simple notepad and build your HTML page and write down your CSS, integrate those CSS and HTML page with your JavaScript functionalities. That's I said I will show you detail about the. I will recap again the structure of the projects. Very simple projects. So then we already talk about this one, this the all things, all libraries. Then we can go like that way. What we have it like. So if I open the our previous applications, previous graph functionality, this application, so we can open the very simple browser. It's open already here, so you see that's a very simple browser open. It has a lot of functionalities. You have a static chat graphs to give it the telecommunication information, share of the telecommunication in Bangladesh. If you have some mouse position information, you can hide the slow. You can see the grid on, grid off, and even though you can slide off the station information, link information, coverage information, measurement information. It is possible to do everything. That is program it like that way. So you can even though switch off, switch on the Google Maps. You can go this way, Google Maps, and then even the Terrain maps, and even though the Google hybrid map and the street maps, and then so on. This is OpenStreetMaps by default to design it. And this is already covered in the other previous screencast. You can go to the previous screencast, and then you see all the information what we expected, and then so on so forth. All the information you design it. Maybe this data coming from the some REST services or so on so forth. If those who have no experience about REST services or microservices, you can even though some points need to design with static data, and that's the here I am giving to you the possibilities to example to give it to you. And even though you can design some polygons, the track it the vector polygons, you can draw the lines, even though you can draw the points, and then so on so forth. That's this all functionalities working what we expected. These things together. You have a mouse over functionalities, and then this is the slider functionalities, the locations and scales and zoom in, zoom out, not directions, and then so on so forth. This is a default structure of the navigation or flow of your maps. They have a printing functionalities. That's we already talk about detail the functionality feature of these functions, and then you have a printing functionality. You can print your maps, and then and so on so forth. You see that you really properly design and print your PDF. You can do what you like to save as PDF, and then so on. After that you can print it is your maps into in your clients, or say this is our clients your results or something like that. You can this is all the possibilities there. You can look for that one. So that means this I already discussed about this one. Just follow the previous screencast, and I have it in the system, and I already released it. But I have recorded more. We have recorded more, but I didn't have it enough encoded the informations. But when now we have enough time, we will do that's the recording information further. So yeah, this is one of the continuation that I said. This is the one of the continuation of my application that I need to be really detailed discussion about that one. How can you call the GeoServices into your very standard, very simple very simple HTML page? So where our source code is located. So that means even though they have the possibility, you have some Google hybrid map. No, it's not. You have to tell this is you see the development version, because we are in European countries. Then you need to be handled like that way. So it's a only for developments. This works for all the maps that we expected. The scale, zoom in, zoom out functionalities, it works. And even though we have the Terrain possibility, Terrain maps, and then Google Street Maps, and then Google Hybrid Maps, and then default is OpenStreetMap, because the OpenStreetMap really efficient and very effective OpenStreetMaps. And then you have some different possibility to slide up, and then you have the primary road, the whole network in Bangladesh. You see all the primary roads, and even though you have all red node networks, and this is the really big data sets.